and welcome to the Stronger Than My Excuses show, Speak Up. I'm your host for today's panel discussion, Brendan Rogers. First of all, I'd like to say a massive thank you to Sean Grobbelaar, who is the owner of the Entrance Lake House where we're filming today, and thank you very much for supporting the show. I'd also like to acknowledge the land that we're meeting on today, the Darkinjung people, pay our respects to them and elders past, present and future. The Stronger Than My Excuses show will be launching a number of episodes into the future, so please keep an eye out for that. Today we will be discussing ways to support people in business, to speak up, be confident and to be stronger than my excuses. I'd like to welcome my co-host Janet Beckers, who is founder of Romancing Your Tribe Consulting and Video Marketing Summits.
Hi, thank you, and welcome everybody. We're going to be looking at today about why people aren't actually speaking up. Why aren't they, getting their message out about their business? And so we've got some fantastic panellists here, some great experts to really help us with that today.
Fantastic, Janet. Would you like to introduce our panel?
Yeah, sure. So, Sam Patrisma, hi, he's from Advantage Agency. Now, here is our website marketing and branding expert. We've got Alan Howell over here from Triple Effect, and here is our video expert from coaching in video, but also in actual production of video. And here we have Scott Johnston from Speaker Forum. So if you want to know about communicating and about public speaking, here's your man.
Thank you, Janet. I'd just like to acknowledge our sponsors who will appear on the screen during our show, and also to Sarah from Atlantic Studios, who's doing our filming today. So let's get into our first question. This is about why. So, Janet, I'm going to start with you because I think you've got some fantastic experience on this, as all of our panellists do, but why do you think when people are talking about their business services at network meetings and in small groups, they have some confidence around that, but they don't seem to have the same level of confidence around when they're talking on video or presenting in a forum like this? Yeah,
it's such a common one. And like when you're going to an event and you're actually got the person there that you're talking to, you get to go and you get to ask them questions, you get to know what their frustrations are, and you can go, yeah, great, I can help you. And here's how I can help you. But as soon as it goes digital and you haven't got that interaction, you can't see people, then you start imagining all of these people that you've got to try to, all these anonymous people, and you start to focus on yourself. The big challenge that I find with people is they're not focusing on actual one individual. They're getting overwhelmed. And then also, they're not really thinking about the transformation that they can help people with. And it's at that point when you can't take the cues from everybody else and you have to actually go, this is the problem, and communicate it. This is what's possible and communicate it. And this is how I help you. People start doing that, say using video or any kind of speaking, and then they go, oh, actually I'm not really clear. I'm not really that clear to communicate it. And that's where they get the trouble. And so, yeah, are you guys finding the same sort of thing?
Sam, how about we go to you, Sam? What's your perspective on that question?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with Janet. I think that it mostly comes from a place of fear and uncertainty. Obviously, this is a relatively new realm as far as humanity is concerned. So I think people are generally technophobic and don't know where to start. I think having some small, tangible steps to take to begin is often the first piece in the puzzle. I think that a lot of people are missing, just not having that direction. They might have some inkling of the value of doing it, but they just feel a bit lost, and they're focused on running a business or other important things that it's just at the bottom of the priority list.
Scott, I'm going to go to you now. You're a distinguished Toastmaster and a speaking coach. What's your perspective on this?
Well, I think most people are very good at one-on-one in talking, but you put them in front of a group, it's a different story, because they all of a sudden, all these fears of speaking come out, and you find a lot of business owners are good at running their business, but promoting their business is sometimes an issue. And usually when I find that people really, the fear really comes out, they have this lack of self-belief. They're worried that they're going to make a mistake or say something wrong or upset someone. So it's really, and that inner critic starts to take place. That inner critic starts to try to say, well, you're not good enough. Why try to explain your business? So there's a lot of things happening when you're in a large group or you're talking to a large group, because you're the centre focus. People are looking at you, and that really starts to get the heart pumping, the hands sweating, and sometimes we just can't think properly. We don't breathe properly, so the blood doesn't go to our head, and we can't really explain about our business. So we need to speak up. We all have a voice, so we need to be heard.
Absolutely. Yeah, again, fantastic perspective. And I'm going to go to Big Al, our video guy. And last time I saw you, Al, you and I both had our shirts off at Terrigal Beach.
in the swim. Great.
Give us a perspective on the video stuff.
So I think Janet nailed it. The word focus. People often think about confidence as if it's something external that they've got to get, where it's not. It's actually just focusing on your message, what you're trying to say or what you're trying to get across. And Janet mentioned as well that people underestimate the effectiveness or the value of what they can share, and how life transformation that could potentially be is, whether it's support, accountability, or just some tips or hacks, if you will, that are ultimately going to help someone go from where they are to where they want to go. So really just focusing in, and when we work with people, it's almost narrow-sightingly thinking about your best client, the best, someone who just listens, soaks it all up, is responding, and really taking in what you're talking about.
Yeah, once again, great perspectives from our panellists. I think from my point of view, I hear a lot from people that they speak a certain way, they look a certain way, and when they see themselves on video or on camera, it's like, do I look like that? And I think there's just that term, get over yourself, comes into my head. We just need to get over ourselves, just be stronger than our excuses, and just do it and put yourself out there. So anyway, thanks for sharing, guys. We want to move on to the what's and the outcomes around this. So as we've said, this show's around, we want people to speak up. So what do you think would happen to a business or a person if they were to put themselves out there more, to tell everyone about their services and really how they can help others? I'm going to go to you, Al.
So, well, what if imagine what would happen if someone actually does stand out, brings out their true self, and really shines the light that they have. What a concept, hey? And I think that people are actually scared of what they're capable of. People are actually scared of what they can truly do, and use things as comfort, like, oh, I'm not a camera person, or no, I'll skip this time, or no, it's not right for me right now. It's really just about, it's really stepping up and really finding out what you're made of, and really finding out what you're capable of during that process. And yeah, it may look ugly. Yeah, you may not sound great, and yeah, you may have a big zit on your head or whatever the case is, but imperfect action then brings more momentum to those things as well.
Yeah.
You're nodding quite a bit, Janet, so something's resonated with you.
What
do you think?
A lot of times people think they've got to be perfect before they start. You know, they've got to, they're either too fat, too thin, too ugly, not smart enough, not qualified enough. But it's actually taking those little steps, and every time you take the step, you get clearer and clearer and clearer on what you do. And the beauty of that is, the clearer you get on your actual message, by you actually going out there and doing it, by being that voice that's going to be willing to sort of put yourself out there and really communicate. What it does then is, if you can communicate clearly, this is the frustration that people have, this is where I can take you, and you get clearer each time you do something, you naturally are positioning yourself as the person to be listened to. You attract a tribe to you. And by doing that, they're resonating just with your personality, with your story, with your messaging. They're not really resonating so much on the zit on your forehead.
Exactly.
Honestly, they're more consumed with themselves. But what that does happen is they see you as the leader. So you attract this tribe of people that resonate with you, and because you're the person that's actually communicating what they want to hear, you're the person they want to do business with.
To expand on that, I think people perceive that they need to be this level of expert when really there is no such thing as the ultimate expert. Everyone is still learning, and in fact, probably the most learned people recognize what they don't know. And I think being able to cut ourselves some slack and saying, look, I am actually good at what I do. I've still got a lot to learn, and this is actually a part of that journey. By teaching, we actually can learn, but we build our expertise actually. Like you were saying, we create a magnetism where people actually perceive us for our expertise. We've got an acronym in the Google world called EAT, which is expertise, authority, and trustworthiness. So building those three planes is really important for establishing our place in the market and for enabling people to perceive us as a premium player or a person worth listening to, like you said.
And I really love that acronym EAT, given that we're videoing in a restaurant today. So great news.
And it's good
great
food
news,
here.
Sam.
I'm hungry too.
Scott, you're helping people speak up maybe in a more articulate way. What do you see? What's your perspective on this?
Well, I think that we need to be stronger than all our excuses. We need to speak up because, as the panel has already discussed, we make up all these excuses why we can't do this, why we shouldn't do this. And, the zits maybe one thing. I'm not good enough. I don't know enough. People are going to laugh at me. I'm going to make a fool of myself. But you're the expert. You're the chosen expert. So you need to speak up, get out there and voice your business. Tell them how good you are. Because a lot of people, they seem to focus on things that they're not good at. But if you look at your life, through your life, you'll see how good you are, the things you've achieved in life. So you need to speak up. You can't put all this work in and then forget about the last hurdle. You need to let people know that you are the expert. This is your niche. This is what you're good at. So as far as I'm concerned, just have that belief in yourself. Just do it. As the Nike ad tells us, just do it, because that's what you need to do. You need to get out there and take that last step and tell people what you do.
I think what resonated with me across the panel is I was hit across the face at football on the weekend. I was supposed to do a couple of videos on Sunday, and I wasn't stronger than my excuses. I didn't look that pretty in the face, so I didn't do it. So I think I just need to get over myself, not worry about the black and blue, and just get on video.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
And actually, just on that point, I mean, because a lot of times people will, if it's not a bruise, it's going to be something else that they're perceiving. You actually can just tell that as part of the story about what people. It's real people who are watching whatever you're doing. They want to hear the story and feel part of it.
Great point. Okay, guys. So we're going to get into the actions. We're going to leave people with some takeaways, and we're saying podcasting is not for everyone. Hosting a show like this is not for everyone. But what advice would you give people to speak up, get over themselves, speak up, put themselves out there? Scott, let's start with you.
I think the biggest thing to do is self-belief. Believe in yourself. Believe you can do it. And a lot of people, if you can have a positive attitude, a positive mindset, also be well organised and well practiced, you'll find that speaking up becomes a lot easier for you, because the less stress you can have on yourself when you're actually promoting something, it certainly will give you the concentration on what you want to say, and to breathe from the diaphragm to get that oxygen up into the brain, because a lot of people don't. They shallow breathe and they lose focus. They also lose their breath. They run out of breath, and also you've got all the blood circulating to the brain, so you can think clearly, because that's what you need. You need clarity, and that's what it's all about.
Fantastic. Al, over to you.
So, like, a practical thing that I would say and suggest is focusing on building momentum. So what that actually looks like would potentially be different for everyone. Pardon me. So again, as much as I promote video and will, insist on someone stepping up and doing video, that may just be looking at grabbing a photo and sharing a story of how they got hit in the head by a football or something like that, and how that relates to something, maybe doing some writing or whatever. Stepping up doesn't mean you have to sit on a panel, step up on a stage, do video. It can sometimes just mean just stepping out there and putting your story out there and or your experiences out there that may help someone else. So I would suggest that have a look at what are you really good at. If you're good at writing, write something and maybe find a photo that you can use. A photo of you personally is great, but then obviously if you're someone who is confident, who is just needs that whether it's accountability or whatever the case is to step up in front of the camera, then look at taking actions to make sure that you can get there as well.
Good advice.
Yeah, well said.
Sam,
I think a big piece and practical advice that I'm sure we can all relate to, but in giving advice to clients is set yourself up for success. In the personal and professional development world, you consider you're in a battle not necessarily with others but with your future self, and so the idea of eliminating your own objections or your inevitable objections. For example, personally, I can speak to this, that I was always making the excuse that I didn't have a good enough camera, or I didn't have a good enough mic, or I just don't have time. So blocking out time, just getting a fairly basic camera, a fairly basic mic, it can be fairly affordable, and really just ensuring that you can actually make it from a practical sense is really important, because you can really build momentum once you get started. I guess the other piece of that is don't set an unrealistic goal. Don't say, I'm going to make a video a day for a month. Start simple, start small, and have a clear plan about what you want to do. Don't just fumble and guess. Just write some things down, have a small action plan, some dot points to talk about, and then I think I was definitely wanting to bring the tagline in there, just do it. If you just do it, don't worry about perfectionism. You don't have to show anyone. It could just be a practice run, but just getting in front of the camera, or like you said, writing, just practice.
Can I just add in there, just around equipment, most iPhones or most smartphones have more than enough technology for someone to be able to put something of high quality out there.
Yeah.
So don't underestimate what you've got in your pocket.
Yeah.
great point.
There you go. There goes your last
Shannon,
excuse.
what's your bit of action that people can overcome their fear of speaking up, particularly on video?
Yeah. So here is a tip that I use every single day. I used it before we came here. I will use it for everything I do. And it's the thing that helps you to get that courage to every single time do something. And it's a phrase that I use that's called scare-sighted. So making a commitment to yourself that you're going to step into scare-sighted. So I'll explain what it is and tell you a story that demonstrates it. So scare-sighted is that feeling you get when, you know what, that just scares the pants off me. Like, that's just way beyond what I think I'm capable of doing. But if it works, like if this actually attracts the right clients to me, if this attracts this beautiful tribe of people, how cool would that be? Making a commitment to step into scare-sighted, and you know when you've got it because you can feel it. You can feel it in your gut. And an example of how quickly this happens, so every single day, like when we're talking about these little tiny little steps that you do, the little micro steps, how they can go so much more of an impact, is the decision I made quite a few years ago in a conference, you know, a business marketing conference. I was like in the back row, like really intimidated, looking at these people on stage going, oh, like how on earth do you get to that stage where I'm the successful person up there talking about my business? I can't imagine what's going to happen. And then I thought, I bet they all were like me at some stage. So I made the decision in that room there that every time I felt that scare-sighted feeling, that I was going to do it. I was just going to step into whatever it was, even if I didn't think I was ready. And within 12 months, I was on that stage. Those people getting heard, that's all they've done. They've just stepped into that feeling of scare-sighted and stuck with it.
And just flowing on from that, I think for me, the actions that I took and maybe might help others listening to this is that I use LinkedIn a lot, people know that, and I would send video messages to people.
Right.
Because I had a close relationship with those people. So if they were to judge me, then that's okay. I'm comfortable around that. But it just started to get me a little bit more comfortable, build that momentum that you talk about. I might have been that person on LinkedIn in the back of the room, and I just do a video message and I send it on to my mate or a client or whatever, and it might just be, hey, hope you have a great day or something. Just something simple like that, but just that momentum builder. And then you do, I got over myself.
Yeah.
All right, last bit. This is always the hardest thing because we want to challenge you guys. Given some great advice today on the panel, but if we could nail it down to a word, maybe we'll give you 2 words. What would you say about people speaking up in 2 words? Sam?
Action.
Great.
Action.
I'm going to do 2 words and say focus and clarity. Focus and momentum.
That was 3.
Focus and momentum. Yeah, that's right. 3 words.
Scott?
I'm going to put self-belief. Self-belief.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And
Janet?
hey, scarce-sighted. That's everything.
For me, I think it's just as simple as build momentum. All right, I want to say thank you to everyone on the panel, my co-host Janet Beckers. I also want to say a massive thank you to our venue here, once again, Sean Grobbelaar and the Entrance Lake House. Beautiful, fantastic venue. And also to our videographer and editor, Atlantic Studios.
Yeah, and I also just want to say to everybody that is out there that is watching this, is you are part of this as well. So we really want to invite you to leave questions, leave comments, share this with your friends. If you know that there is somebody that you know they need to speak up about their business, share this with them. We're going to come back, we're going to answer questions that you've got, so please, you can be interacting as well.
I hope you watch the Stronger Than My Excuses show again. This is Speak Up, there's future episodes coming. I want to say a massive thank you to Janet Beckers, founders of Romance Your Tribe Consulting and Video Marketing Summits.
Thank you, and thank you everybody that is here. We have got our fantastic experts that are here, so I really recommend that you go and check them out and communicate and connect with them. So we've got Sam Petrusa from Advantage. This is going to check me, Advantage Academy. We've got Alan Howell here from Triple Effect. If you want anything to do with video, we've got Sam for anything to do with websites. And we have got here Scott Johnston. If you've got anything that you want to do here with the speaker forum, that's to communicate your words and get out there. And thank you, Brendan.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you, Janet. Thank you to everyone out there. We look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.